This particular webinar, before moving on, I'd like to give you a brief about my background. I'm Siddharth, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Initiate. And I have been in this tech domain for the past 5 years officially. But yeah, I'm a second generation coder. My parents are in the same domain, were in the same domain, and that really drove me forward in my career. And yeah, I have been in an MNC as well as in a startup, and then I started my own startup right now. And yeah, so during my tech career, I figured out like these five mistakes that are basically creating problems, and like many freshers and the people even in the industry are not aware of it. And what I felt, and over the past 6 months, I've been hiring a lot of people even for my startup, and for like we have a startup collaboration where we usually suggest people to refer people a lot. So we have been going through this thing, and we are seeing a common trend that is being followed right now across the industry. And many freshers and even the professional graduates do not know the revolutionizing things that are being happening in this particular industry. So I'll walk you through the five mistakes that you are potentially doing right now, and that are stopping you from either getting shortlisted for an interview, or sustaining a job, or to even qualify for that interview, or to sit in an interview process as well. Okay, so these are the mistakes that you should avoid right now. So moving forward, the first and the foremost mistake that we have to that you guys are doing right now is neglecting the industry recommended tools. Okay, so what I want to tell you that writing just core Java or Python in your CV won't give you the edge over anyone else. Okay, because this industry has been revolutionizing for the past 5 years. I began my career 5 years back, and at that time, writing core Java, DSA, Algo usually was enough to get a job. But at this market, at this current recession times, even I am not hiring those people who have just written these particular things. So you need to explore your domain, or your whatever you want to do in life. Like if you are a web developer, if you're going for a MERN stack, or if you want to go for Android development or iOS, or whatever kind of development you are going for, you need to understand what are the tools and technologies that are currently being used in that particular industry on that particular career path, because it's essential to you to write those keywords and write those things in your CV. Because if you're neglecting those things, because the first thing any startup or any thing anywhere you go for working, if they ask you what kind tools and technologies have you used, either in your projects or in your prior experience, wherever. So you need to either elevate yourself to come up with like these things. And yeah, so industry recommended tools you have to follow, and you don't need not to neglect it, because this will be a very crucial thing, because past 5 years this has changed a lot, this industry. Dockers, Kubernetes, all these things have made it very easy for anyone to develop and deploy their application on the cloud, and multiple other things. Okay, so this is the first and the foremost mistake that you are doing right now. So start focusing on that. The second point that I'm coming forward to is that refusing to adapt. This is a very broad statement. It's changing every day, and I'm referring the term as AI. Whatever you guys are doing, I am sure that AI either is helping you in it, or it will help you in it. So you need to learn how these things work, and how to leverage AI and basic prompt engineering if you can figure it out. How to talk to AI, how to adapt to change. Basically, there are multiple tools that are helping coders code, develop, and deploy their application. It has been really simple nowadays. For me also, like to experiment some things, I usually write all the boilerplate code, as Karan also mentioned in the chat window, that for the boilerplate code, it's definitely necessary. For writing a particular logic, if you are stuck, it's really cool. Like you need to learn it, because many of, even like when I am hiring, usually on LinkedIn, I add a question to it. Do you know how to use chat GPT, or do you know how to use Google well? So this is a particular skill. There was a trend also 5 years back, 2 3 years back, where people used to write Googling in their CV as a top skill. So I guess it's going to be replaced at chat GPT as well. Many people have started writing it. I am not sure if it's going to be helpful or not, but you should also start writing and exploring it, because it's going to be a skill in the future on at how you talk to the large language models. Okay, So this is a major point, refusing to adapt. You need to stay on top of these things, of how things are changing in the market. You need to be active, especially on LinkedIn, to follow those communities where you can get regular updates on how this particular thing is changing over time. So over to the next and the most important thing for any fresher right now in this industry who does not have any technical experience right now, professional technical experience or any internship under their belt. So guys, you need to do impressive projects. I'm focusing on the word impressive because writing in your CV a simple to-do application won't do any justice to you. Okay, it's pretty much pointless because I, being a recruiter, I being hiring for a company, I don't want a candidate who will just do simple stuff. Okay, I want a candidate who has developed a single project and has focused on it for a longer period of time and has given the best output possible. I will share my experience in that. When I was working for an MNC, like I won't use the name, but at that point of time, I usually had a certain amount of free time, and it was during the COVID times. So I started doing a project, and I started my own YouTube channel as well. There were certain things, and that project nearly 3x'd my salary, to be honest. The package that I was earning in the MNC, and then I got to a startup, it was nearly 3x. But that project was, it took me nearly 6 months to develop that particular project, but it gave me the edge that I wanted from anyone else in this industry, and it just elevated my game entirely. Okay, so do you need to do impressive projects? I'm repeating, do not focus on small projects right now. You can start it up, but mentioning that in your CV and portraying it well is just thing that you need to show it a bit more wisely. If you're creating a restaurant app, just naming it restaurant app won't do it. Figure out some kind of a new word or keyword just to impress that particular person, whoever is watching your, or whoever is reviewing your CV at that moment. The next thing, this is especially for, like, see, this was point for the start for the people who are right now in like freshers and who do not have much experience as a full-time joinee. Okay, do not have any internships under their belt, and they need to do this thing because it really gives a lot of edge, because I have hired a lot of candidates who have good and impressive projects. Okay, so moving on to the next mistake that would be there is, it's a pretty crucial one, and it's the CV. Guys, I will take certain amount of time to tell you that uh, I have reviewed nearly 500 to 600 CVs in the past 6 months itself. I have gone through them, and I could hardly find 10 to 15 CVs that are perfect. Okay, that are using the right format, that are just the perfect length, without any grammatical mistakes, without any punctuation mistakes, because these things are really important. And if, like, especially for the freshers who are in this call, guys, please don't make your CV more than 1 page. Okay, stop using that. If you have a CV of 2 3 page, you're explaining, your font is that much, it won't get you any shortlisting. It's the hard truth. Just make it 1 page. It should look beautiful. It should be an aesthetic CV. Do not use any fancy Canva CVs because those are not ATS friendly. If you are like, yeah, just use an ATS friendly CV. Just explore what does ATS means. ATS is the application tracking software that nearly every company uses nowadays, especially for the MNCs I'm talking about. Startups generally do not use that, but images and all these things do not put in your CV because those are not friendly, and we want to see your professional background and not your image. So that's, again, whatever CV is out there in your Canva or whatever you're using, please do not use those. Make a simple format, and it would be very helpful, especially for the start freshers. Just make a 1 page CV. For the experienced person, if you are adding a page, just take it as a years of experience. If you are, like, I asked a question, right, how many years of experience? If for one, at least for 1 year's experience, or 2 3, I would suggest, if you are 2+ years or at least 3 years of experience, then you should add a page to your CV. After that only you should increase your CV length, and not at the beginning. For at least 1 or 2 years of your career, do not make your CV more than 1 page. And the format, you should be researching on that as well. And please, guys, use Grammarly. It's a tool available online. It's an extension. It will check your grammatical mistakes, because it really is a thing in the market. If you are not at writing grammar correctly, it's a very off-putting thing for the recruiter as well, okay, to read that CV. So guys, please do focus on this point as well to make your CV the perfect length, the format, and without any grammatical mistake at the least. Okay. The next point is the most crucial one, because everyone develops a CV, but the content that is written in that CV is pretty much not good for anyone. Okay. So this is failure to tailor your CV to the job applications and omission of impact statements. Okay. So guys, I will give you one example. Generally, if we have a lot of tech stack in our background, right? If you have learned Java as well, you have learned Python as well, you have done Android programming, you have done web also, because generally everyone experiments a lot. Even I have worked on nearly every tech stack. But just imagine if you are applying for a job that is just hiring a Java developer. You mentioning all these things in your CV won't get you shortlisted in that interview, because the person recruiting also will be feeling that I why will I hire this person who has worked on so many things? I will hire a person who has specialized or worked on one particular thing throughout his career and has experience in that. Okay, so do focus on this particular thing. Tailor make your CV for one particular job application. And for next, if you are have worked on multiple different projects and you have a background of multiple tech stacks, make 2 to 3 different CVs then. Okay, even I have maintained 3 different CVs. Only the major points change over here, but yeah, it gives a good approach and it increases your shortlisting chances in that particular company. And the next thing is the omission of impact statements. Okay, guys, this is a pretty important thing, because most of the people who are hiring you will be non-technical people. Okay, they won't be knowing what all things you have done, what all languages you have used, what all tools you have used. They might not be knowing that, but they will be knowing what impact you have created in that particular project, or in that particular internship, or in that particular job role, whatever you are targeting or whatever you have done in your past. So you need to add the impact statements in that. I will tell you one example. Instead of just writing, I developed an application, I developed a UI for this, I developed a backend for this. Okay, you need to tailor this thing to a different aspect. Like this particular, I developed this application that is solving the needs of hundreds of people across this industry. Okay, with this aim in mind, and I solved nearly 200 plus bugs in it. This application made the application production ready. So these are the terminologies that a non-technical recruiter will link with you. Okay, that this he will feel, or they will feel that okay, this person has worked and done something. If you are an Android developer or an iOS developer, publish this application on Play Store as well. That's a task. That's a thing. Many people just make the application and never publish it, because they need to see if you have started and finished that particular task from start to end. So guys, this are the 2 major points right now. These things will help you get shortlist in any interview, in any call, in any job that you're trying to make. So okay guys, this is the 5 basic things that I felt that was necessary for everyone to know right now in this call, that these are the 5 mistakes that you are doing. And the solutions, definitely I would like to tell you, is the pre-placed community. They have made a impact on this particular domain while creating a long-term mentorship session. I have been mentoring people for the past 3 years right now. Pre-placed started around 1.7, 2 years back. Yeah, so I currently linked with these people because yeah, this particular long-term mentorship program will be solving a lot of your problem. So what I provide in this particular thing is I provide a personalized skill matrix. If you don't know what a skill matrix is, it will judge you throughout the period of our time, like how you are growing up, leveling up your knowledge. I will help you grow throughout your tenure with me, and that you are growing in your knowledge space. You are doing the right projects. The next point is project-based learning. If you don't know, the best part of learning is the project-based learning, because you experience a lot of things, you try to do a lot of things, you figure out a lot of things, and you do those things. Okay, so this is the CV making. I will guide you through the entire process of CV. I will help you out, guide you through what all things you should be preparing and what all should you be posting in your CV. And then definitely mock interviews to prepare you, get you ready for that particular job or any job you're targeting. It can be a technical also, it will be a HR round also, it will be a salary negotiation also, because you don't want to be underpaid, right? You want the right value for your money or whatever thing that you are putting in. So I will help you through that. And accessing to my startup network as well, because I am hiring a lot of people for different startups as well. I used to take interviews. I am taking interviews for them. So I have a collaboration with them. So definitely, this will again be a advantage for joining the long-term mentorship program over me. And apart from that, guys, I have I don't know if you have my LinkedIn profile as well. I will share it with you, and you can definitely go through over it. And yeah, so this was the basics of what I wanted to tell you guys right now. And if you have any doubts, any issues at this particular moment, feel free to ask me. I'm sharing my LinkedIn profile as well, because I want this to be a really helpful session for you. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. I will be happy to clear all of them.